So the pom pom, it's the big one, and it's a journey I've been on for about 15 years now. It all started by teaching English to children out here in Germany. I specialize in teaching kids, and it's not too much fun to walk in there like MC grammar. So basically, it's an art class, right? And I just expose them through art, the language of English, and busy scissors, glue sticks flying. But it just turns out that pom poms was like really exceeded any expectations I had. The kids loved it, so it kind of just evolved from there. I would walk through the hallways of the school with my pom pom creations, necklaces and crowns and so forth, and turns out adults love it, teenagers love it, everybody loves it. So I started doing little pom pom workshops outside of the kids' classes and inside the adult classes too. And it just kept kind of snowballing from there. I started going bigger. I started trying to make patterns inside the pom poms. I started shipping them out to friends. And I started thinking, well, how big can I go? So I took a look and I saw online what the biggest one in existence was. And I thought, oh, I can smoke that. So I kind of made plans to make the biggest in the world. And that was 10 years ago. And I began doing that. Unfortunately, my plan got a little derailed because I was working to have it entered into the Guinness Book. So I was recording all of my progress, and my computer got stolen with all the progress. So I kind of put the brakes on it. Kind of broke my heart a little bit. But there's a nice, happy ending to that story because a friend of mine set up a Kickstarter, and I was able to get a new computer. So that was awesome, and reaffirm my faith in humanity. But the project was on hold. It kind of got icy a bit. And then during COVID, leaning very much into family fun because everything else was closed down. And then I looked at my son and I said, hey, boy, you want to make the world's largest pom-pom together? Because he's a bit of a pom-pom master himself. And we got to work and we made this big giant pom-pom, which is actually 1/3 the size of the one in the exhibition. And that was seen and felt and heard and experienced by many a folk. And one of them insisted that I make a bigger one and lent me his studio to make it in, which is this gorgeous studio that you see in the video there. And that's what rolled out, this gigantic pom-pom. And for me, it seems just absolutely obvious that if someone sees that pom-pom, especially in the real world, it's very tactile. It's a smile bringer, it's a joy bringer, and it kind of triggers, I think, a childlike wonder in those who see it because, pom-poms, it has a nostalgic kind of feel. I think most kids are familiar with pom-poms. They're on the top of a woolly hat. They often make them in kindergarten and so forth. So it kind of triggers that moment where it's like, whoa, hey, I remember that. But it's kind of fun because when you're a kid working with a pom-pom, it fits in the size of your hand. But now you're an adult and you're big, so I guess you need a bigger pom-pom to trigger that wonder. It seems to work, and I do recommend it to everyone. I think there was the old school method of making it, cutting out cardboard donuts from, say, a cereal box and twisting in and out and so forth. That's how I made the giant one as well, the old school conventional way. But you can go ahead and get yourself these pom-pom makers online for a few bucks, and it speeds up the process, makes it pretty easy for the kiddos as well. So I certainly recommend that to everyone. And, it's a kind of a fun project with a lot of heart and a lot of my history in it, and it has certainly an objective. I want to, like I said, bring people back to that place of childlike wonder. And for me, the meaning of it all, it kind of transforms and evolves. It's kind of like a seed that gets planted in the mind of the individual who sees it. And then with water and sunshine, it becomes something else. It inspires, it motivates, perhaps influences people to bring a little bit more joy into their world or community. So I find it to be an extraordinary object. It's very unique, and it is the largest one ever made by a single individual. And that's kind of the journey in a nutshell.